The Lions outside the New York Public Library, only a few blocks away. These
Hello, welcome back to Vlogs. Finally, I'm coming back at you with a vlog. It's been quite some time, I must admit. I have footage from Christmas where I got B-roll but didn't really vlog anything, and now it's the end of January. It is the 30th, and I'm finally starting a vlog. I don't know what that says about me right now, but I am very excited. I definitely have the I don't know how to vlog jitters, if you will, because it's been so long that I'm just like, what do I talk about? What do I film? What's important? So besides having to rediscover that with you guys, this is going to be a short... I say this is going to be a shorter vlog. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is short. It just means that it's only going to be a couple of days, because I have kind of a lot of reading to do. I am incredibly behind for the month, and I have 2 days to accomplish everything, which I don't know how possible that is, but I need to film 2 videos as well. It's a time. It's definitely a time. I have the rest of today. It's almost 2 p.m. And then I have all of tomorrow as well, because it is the tax season, baby. Which means that I am on my new work schedule until April or whatever. But I thought while I was getting ready for the day, I would hop on and say hello to you guys and chit chat a little bit about my current read, which I will be finishing incredibly soon. If not whilst I finish up my makeup, then shortly after. But I'm hoping to finish Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nang, because I want it to be done. I have, I think, an hour, maybe a little bit less than that, of the audiobook, and I'm incredibly excited for it to be over. I don't think I will be jumping into Girls of Fate and Fury so soon, just because the second book has kind of been disappointing. It really feels like a second book, if that makes sense to you guys. It's very slow. Nothing is really happening. The party is really just going on the adventure to basically get allies after the events of the first book, and that's really it. I have had no connection to the characters, to the story. I have not really been vibing any of it. 2 characters have died in it that we've been with for this whole book, and I felt absolutely no emotion from either death, which is not a good sign. I'm not gonna lie. I should be more upset about that. Also, our 2 main characters, Ren and Lei, are fully in a relationship right now. Even though there's turbulence in the relationship, they're very much together, very much obsessed with each other. Lei is constantly talking about Ren, and that's kind of all that matters, no matter what happens. And, like, I like them as a couple, I do, but I just need more from these characters than just being in love with each other. There's no, like, real angst going on anymore. It's just not been... hasn't been as good. I don't know how to describe it besides it just feels like a second book. But I've been told fantastic things about the third book and how wonderful it is, and that it's got like some of the best fight scenes and so on and so forth. So I'm still excited. It just doesn't hold up to the first book, which is so sad. But besides that, that's what I've been reading. It's honestly taken me 2 whole weeks to read this book, which is also not a good sign. So I'm hoping to get it done finally, once and for all, and move on to some other things that I'm more excited about that I think are going to be more engaging for me, and kind of go from there. But that's where we're at. I'm going to finish it. I'll check in with you guys. I won't really have a lot to say because it's like the finale of the second book. So I'll basically give you my rating. And if I have any changing feelings, then I'll let you know. But until then, I will chit chat with you guys later. And then we can decide on what the next read will be. So, cool. We've done it. It's been read. It's finished. Like, let me just show you. This is the little blurb. Like, this is the summary, not the blurb. This is your summary, which is, this wasn't the end of her story, this was the beginning. Now Lei and her warrior love Ren must prepare for a revolution. And just like overall, it felt like a middle book. It felt like the sequel to a trilogy. It wasn't very impactful. It didn't really carry the same weight. And although I appreciate what the author note says and what the goal of this series is, especially when talking about sexual assault and the trauma that comes from it and everything that encompasses that, and it pulls a lot from the author's experience, and I do really appreciate that, and I appreciate the story for what it is. As for the character development, the relationship development, the overall plot, like, none of it was really working for me. None of it really made me feel a lot. I didn't connect as much, and so it just kind of lacked for me in comparison to Girls of Paper and Fire, which, like, emotionally had me going through it, especially with the hard topics that are in the books, like, especially in the first one. It's a lot to read. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I won't lie. I'm excited for the third one. I'm excited to finish the series. I think that the third one is going to really have a big impact and bang as our character Lei is kind of coming back to potentially the king. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but I'm assuming that the first book kind of like is the traumatic event. The second book is following like recovery and dealing with the trauma and like the impact that it has and like the PTSD effects kind of. And I feel like the third book is kind of going to be Lei's like impact, where Lei is able to really confront her demon head on and kind of take that power back. That's just like kind of my assumption of like what the series is trying to do. But either way, I've read it. It's done. This took me incredibly long to finish. I'm hoping that the third book will be a bit quicker in pace. This one just felt sluggish because there wasn't a lot happening. But yep, that's that. So now I finished this. As for the rest of my January TBR, 2 of the books I will be reading in separate videos, so we won't have to worry about talking about them, although I might potentially be reading them. Hopefully there's not a whole lot of time. So that leaves 2 books on my TBR that haven't been read, and that's going to be Pure and Essie by Susanna Clarke. I'm very excited for this. It is 245 pages, which isn't terrible. That feels doable. The font is kind of like medium sized, so I think this is the next one that I'm going to pick up. And the other one that I'm going to be picking up is on my iPad. It is The Haunting of Alexandra. I don't remember the author. I have this through NetGalley because I have an ARC. I don't think it comes out for a little bit. I'll let you know when I get closer to reading that, because not sure right now. So these are the two things that I like really want to focus on today. I do have a live stream to catch tonight. I believe it's gonna be like 6:30ish. So I'll be kind of reading until then, but I also need to film. So like the hope is to read a lot. I don't know if that's gonna happen. We'll see. But I think I'm gonna start picking up Pure Nessie. Yeah. Sup, vlog? Have you seen this look a bajillion times in videos? You certainly have. She just keeps changing her shirt. That's the truth about YouTube. You look the same and you film a bunch of things the same day and just so happen to change your shirt. Unfortunately, this hair is a dead giveaway of like, yeah, it's the same fucking day. But besides that, we're here to talk books. Hello, vlog. Your girl finished this. Fucking finally. I read about 20% of this and then I listened to about the rest. And what a fever dream this was. I can't tell you what happened in this, and yet I understand everything that happened in this. I feel like I blacked out every time I listened to this book. I don't know if it's because I was being haha silly and listening to it at 1.75 speed, thinking that I was going to grasp it better. I did not. Slower audiobooks, my brain gets so fucking distracted and I just go into like a little different world and think about different things. But I was listening to like the second half at 2 times speed, and I know what happened, but I don't know what happened. In this, we are following Laszlo Strange, who is an orphan that gets adopted by the library because he loves it there. And he has this memory of this world. It's not a world, it's a town, village thing. But the like memory of it has been completely stripped from most people. You can't say the word anymore. It's completely gone. And it's been replaced with weep, which I took notes during this. I did take notes. I took active notes whilst I read this. Hold, please. So I was taking notes while listening to the audiobook so that I could, have things to say. But again, in the plot, the place is replaced with weep. Strange eventually calls it like the unseen or unseen? Something like that. And gets the opportunity to join this man and his party, and something about an alchemist who I shipped so hard. I'm just gonna say it. I don't remember his name anymore. I don't remember his like purpose, but they were like buddies for a little bit, helping each other, not true buddies. Like, and it would have been like a rivals, enemies to lover thing, but that's not what happens. Anyway, and they get this opportunity to go on the adventure to this forgotten town, city, and then it goes from there. That's the bad pitch. Laszlo Strange, war orphan and junior librarian, has been obsessed with the mythic lost city of Weep for as long as he can remember, but it would take someone bolder than he to cross half the world in search of it. Then a stunning opportunity presents itself in the person of a hero called the Godslayer, and a brand of legendary warriors, and he has to seize his chance or lose his dream forever. What happened in Weep 200 years ago to cut it off from the rest of the world? What exactly did the Godslayer slay that went by the name of God? The answers await in Weep, but so do more mysteries, including the blue-skinned goddess who appears in Laszlo's dream. How did he dream of her before he knew she existed? In this sweeping and breathtaking novel by Laini Taylor, the shadows of the past is as real as the ghosts who haunt the citadel of murdered gods. fall into a mystical world of dread and wonder, moths and nightmares, love and carnage. Yes, welcome to Weep. Yes, that's what happens. And it's such a long book. And let me tell you, Laini Taylor has some beautiful writing, and I only poked out the funny parts. Like, there are some stunning quotes in here, I am sure, but only the things that made me go, at work were, like, that's all I noted. And so I really did enjoy, like, Laszlo and Sari, I think I wrote it down. Sarai. I really loved Laszlo and Sarai together and, like, their moments in the dreams. I thought that was, like, beautiful and really cool, and I did love that aspect. I do still low-key ship Laszlo and the Alchemist. I think that they're a cuter couple. I think that would have been fun, but I get it. I did enjoy this, and I gave it 3.5 stars. I think upon a reread, I would enjoy it more now that I have a better understanding of what this book is and what's going on, and I could, like, really enjoy it better. I will be reading the sequel before I do a reread of this, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's go over some of my quotes. I'm going to weep. And he could have laughed at the pun. That was very early on. That's pretty early on, and I genuinely, like, thought that was so funny. It's not that funny, but I thought it was hilarious. My other issue, though, is all of the chapters are titled. And so, sometimes, not always, but enough times that it bothered me. The ending sentence for the last paragraph in a chapter was also going to be the chapter title and also the first sentence in that chapter. It drove me crazy hearing the same thing 3 times. I was like, I don't need it. I really don't need it. So that was a little bit annoying. Is this hell? I wish. Welcome to Purgatory. Want some soup? I love Purgatory soup. Something about that brings me a lot of joy. I would like that on merch. I'm sure it's out there, but I would like Purgatory soup merch. That'd be great. I want Sarai to have her villain Era. Genuinely, maybe that's what the second book will be, but, like, I want her to go sicko mode on these fuckers. I want her to just, like, red laser eyes go sicko mode. I think it'd be so cool. And the final thing that I said was, this book was a fever dream. I know much, but I remember nothing. Oh my god, what? And the ending was, the ending I thought was very well done. I was very hooked. I was very invested. I was very confused. I'm incredibly excited to jump into the second book because of the ending. This is how you do an ending. And I'm so happy it's a duology because that means I can finish it. Next. Okay. I've started 3 books in the span of, like, no time at all. I've decided also that this is going to be mixed with my December vlog. So this is going to be, like, a very long vlog of a whole lot of nothing. I will eventually have to probably end this because I'm going to need to start February vlogs. So a lot of these books will probably be carried over. I don't know when I'm ending this. I don't know how to vlog anymore. It's just, like, a moment. It's fine. We'll start with the audiobook. So at work, once I finished this, I jumped right in to the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, or Evelyn, as the narrator says, and I don't think I like Evelyn as much as I like Evelyn, so sorry if I'm wrong, but it's my life. You can't tell me what to do. This is by Stuart Torton, and I love it. Is it a 5-star? Not yet. I'm almost halfway, about 40-something%. I love it. It is so funny. I was not expecting it to be funny. I honestly went into it kind of like, I'm not a mystery person. It's not really for me, but I love this. I love the concept of being in, like, this cycle where you sleep and you're in somebody else's body that's at this party, and your sole job is to figure out who is killing Evelyn Hardcastle, who is the culprit of the murder, and you're just, like, jumping in different perspectives. There's, like, a very set timeline. You're kind of, like, knowing, like, you need to do things, and it's a trip. It's such a trip in the best way possible. It is so freaking good. I'm having so much fun. It's very funny. It's very I'm captivated. I love all of these different characters that we're meeting along the way, and all of like these like little clues and puzzle pieces. I think this is gonna be such a different experience if you read it again, because you're gonna know how it ends, and I feel like you pick up on more clues. I'm not actively trying to solve anything, which is different. Like if I read like a thriller or a mystery, I'm much more engaged with like, oh, I want to figure out, like, am I smarter than the main character? Can I do this? But in this case, like, I'm just enjoying the ride, and it's been so much fun. Been listening to it at work. It's been a good time. I'm going to finish it probably tomorrow at work. And then I've started 2 more this morning. Technically, I have started this. This is Elemental P by Mark Dunn. I think that this needs more love from me as I'm reading it. So I will for sure be finishing this in this video above all else. But Mark Dunn is a playwright. This is his first novel, and it is written entirely in letters. I'm 17 pages in. I've read like the first chunk, which is really more of like an introduction to this island and their culture and like why they're doing what they're doing and explaining the lore, if you will. Basically, in this, we are going to be following some characters on the island of Nollop, which is a fictional island off the coast of South Carolina, named after Nelvin Nollop, the author of the immortal phrase containing all the letters of the alphabet. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now, in this fictional island, they renamed this island after Nollop because of this phrase. And so they have a statue of him with this phrase in like this town center. And one day, the Z comes crashing down and shatters into pieces. And this young girl, Alice, takes it to the council and is like, what do we do? What? This happened. Should we fix it? And the council's like, no. This is a sign from him. And now they're implementing rules that you can no longer use that letter. The letter that falls is Z, the first one. And so they can no longer write the letter Z, they can no longer say words with the letter Z in it, none of it. It's banished. And after 3 strikes, you're done. You either flee or you're done. I'm very excited. This is, again, entirely told in letters. So we're going back and forth right now from Ella and her cousin, and her dad left like a note. This was written in 2001 or something. So technology, very different from what it is now. But because they're on an island that is not associated with the United States, they have basically like, they're their own country. Basically, they were like, yeah, we don't like you, we don't trust you, we don't want you. So they don't have the same technology that the United States would have. So they don't have email, they don't have telephones. So they're primarily writing each other in letters anyway. And so we get to see those letters that they're addressing to each other. They also called, I hope I can find it. Mr. Nollop was taught to elevate language to a certain premise unmatched by our vocabulazy American neighbors across the sound. So, this book is funny. This book is also smarter than me. Because they are, like, their god, if you will, is this man who wrote this, a sentence that contained all 26 letters. They take language and vocabulary so serious. They love it. That's their bread and butter. Luckily for me, there was like a acknowledgement and so on. But there's also like definitions that basically tell you what this book is going to be about. It's so smart. If you know vocabulary and you're good at that, you'll love this. I don't. Vocabulary is not my strong suit, so it's taking me longer to read because I'm sitting there like, what are words? I don't understand. But it is also written quite beautifully. I'm fucking obsessed. I love this so much. And I am 17 pages in. Oh, I found this, genuinely. I found this through Pinterest. I don't remember what the post was exactly, but somebody on Pinterest was like, oh, if you like this thing, you'll love this book, because basically throughout this, we're going to keep losing letters. So because the author has chosen to write this in letter style, it means that the author themselves also cannot use those letters later on as we lose them. If this was a novel, the narrator could still feasibly use like the letter Z later at the end. But because it's in letters, it means that once on midnight, August 8th or 7th, Z is no longer allowed. That means the author can now no longer touch the letter Z ever again in this book. And I just think that's so genius and so hard. I'm so impressed, and I've not even really started. I don't know. Like, obviously, like, we're going to lose more letters. My assumption, my theory right now, 17 pages in, is like these are going to be the last letters that we have. But either way, like, I'm so excited. I'm adoring this. So that's going to be the main focus of today in this video right now, because I'm obsessed and I think it deserves all of my love and attention. The other thing, I will be starting this today and I will be hopefully finishing it tonight. I don't know. It is already almost 3 p.m. and I'm going to be reading these too. That's the goal. That's the hope. We will see. I do need to edit my Sunday video, which I was unsure if that was going to even be posted, and potentially filming a Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There's a lot going on, and I'm so stressed because of this new work schedule. But either who, these are the two I'm reading, and I'm really freaking excited about it. But for now, I'm gonna watch my girl Portia, her new video, and then I'm gonna probably make lunch, and then hopefully my video will be on my computer and I can get that edited and uploaded, and then we can read. That's the goal. Hi, I'm going to try and update you the best that I can, but there are dogs trying to play. So I just finished LMNOP by Mark Dunn. I did even tab a tiny little bit of it because it was so good. I gave this without a doubt 5 stars. It's so smart. The way that it talks about totalitarianism as well as like the theme of censorship is so clever, and because it's told entirely through letters to family, friends, strangers in this like island town, you're on the journey with the author, who also is losing lack of those letters. So as the censorship happens to the townspeople, it's also happening to the author. And so once you get to like the end chapters, like things are spelt so funny with the remaining letters that they do have, just to like make the most sense. This had such a satisfying ending. I was so pleased with the end. It really just like came around. But the most surprising thing about this, and maybe it shouldn't have been such a surprise to me, but I was really taken aback, was I loved these characters. I loved everything about them. I fell in love with all of these like random side plots and characters, and it just like really made the book so much more special because I felt emotion, not like a super strong emotion, but I definitely felt emotion throughout this as we were introduced to new characters and what was going on with them. Like it really had an impact, and I really love this, so I do recommend this a lot. It was totally worth the read. It's pretty short, easy to get through because they're letters, and by the end like there's no letters left. It's great. Hello. I finished a book. I was forgetting as to why I started recording. Yes, I finished a book today at work. I finished The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Thornton, something like that. So I've given this 3.5 stars, a 4 on Goodreads, because I liked it. It was funny, which I was pleasantly surprised about. It was funny. I enjoyed the cast of characters. Mysteries aren't typically my genre, which I also think accounts to a 3.5 for me because, again, the humor was great. The characters were cool. But I'm just not like a big mystery person, but I did like the sci-fi twist to it. And the endings. Wow. Yeah, so there were... I listened to the audiobook, and so every time I thought it was going to end, it kept going. And that happened like 4 times. So I definitely am glad that I didn't invest any time trying to solve this investigation or this murder, because I would have never gotten it correct, which I think makes it very fun. It definitely was twisty and turny there at the end. But again, it was just like a little bit long. The audiobook is like 17 hours long. And so it took me multiple days to listen to it at work. And I think it's a me thing, not like the book thing. But I very much need a break from long audiobooks. I just want to like chill at work a little bit and not have to focus so hard on my job and like very long audiobooks with like a lot of depth, because that's hard. That's not going great for me right now. So until then, we're not going to do that. So I didn't end up starting another audiobook at work because I just needed a pause. So I listened to my friend Portia's new podcast. It launched today. So I will leave that down below. It is the Cinema Sit Down podcast. It's her boyfriend Jerry and one of Jerry's co-workers. And so I listened to that. It was very funny. It was a very good time. And that was pretty much my entire day. Work has been busy and boring and stressful. So just a few more months of that, and then we can happily move on. But until then, this is where we're at. But that's my update. I read a book. I'm going to continue my read of Piranesi and try not to fall asleep. Hello. I'm checking in to talk about Piranesi. Yes, I'm using my remote light as a bookmark. I have made it 71 pages, so I'm a little over a quarter of the way finished. And it's exactly as expected. I don't understand what's going on, but like I get it. But like I don't know the point of it. I understand that we are following Piranesi, who does not believe that's who he is, because Piranesi doesn't actually have a name. That's just what the other calls him. I'm intrigued to see what the other knows more in depth, because it clearly is something. But either way, we're following Piranesi, who spends his days in this house, which is also the world, and just goes through the many thousands of halls, charting the statues, charts the stars, kind of just gathers information, journals, which is what we're reading, about the house/world and what he's experiencing and what he sees, and his meetings with the other, who is the only other person alive in this world as they know, who is also testing his own theories, trying to find they're basically trying to find the knowledge. Their hypothesis is to find the great power. The other wants to like hold power to, I think, benefit the world, to increase population. I'm not entirely sure, but I really enjoy this. I actually really love the writing. I really love Piranesi. I love like his relationship with the birds and with the sea and the halls and the statues, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm at the part where he just got back from the like, it's a big number. Just had a conversation with Other about how he does not agree with their hunt for knowledge. He just went to the 192nd Western Hall, and so he's kind of on like this weird path of, I'm not on the same scientific research as you, but also I'm going to continue assisting you in your research. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see where this goes. I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving the writing style. So yes, I'm going to continue reading this, and I'll check back in hopefully when it's done, because it's pretty short. So good morning. It is Wednesday. I have to work, which sucks. And I won't stop complaining about it, because I can't tell if I'm going through a sad, fresh time or if it's work burnout, or if it's like I'm just having a really hard time adjusting to the new schedule. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not fun. But I finished last night The Haunting of Alexandra. I keep saying that. The Haunting of Alejandra. I did take Spanish. I do know the words. I just am also white and don't say them correctly. But The Haunting of Alejandra was an ARC that I received from NetGalley back in like October, November, and I'm just getting around to finishing it. Oops. But I finished it. I liked it. I did give it 4 stars. If you enjoy slow horror that mentions the supernatural and like has an eerie, unsettling atmosphere of supernatural, and in this specific case like does have unsettling imagery of the supernatural, but primarily focuses on the horror of life, especially like the horrors of being a person of color and female. That's this kind of horror. It's a slower horror. It's luckily like it's pretty short. It's like 200 pages. It reminded me a little bit of White Horse by Erica T. Worth, where it's generational trauma and focuses more on like the social horrors rather than like the supernatural horrors, even though that is somewhat an element. I think that this one did a rather good job at having like that eerie, unsettling side of things with La Llorona, but at the same time like was more focused on our main character, who was dealing with this presence passing down generational trauma, and it was giving it's complicated because I don't want to say like the monster, the creature itself was giving the women in this family like the depression, but at the same time like it was, because the monster or creature feeds off of the negativity and sadness until one day it can consume that woman or person. I think all of the perspectives that we see, which is one thing I do want to know, I absolutely adored and loved the fact that we go back into the past to see the lineage and the ancestors and how like they were dealing with it and what it was like for them, and slowly by the end you're figuring out like what's going on. And I really enjoyed the ending. Major content trigger warnings. Oh boy. Although I like widely recommend this, I do not widely recommend this because there is very clear depictions of suicidal thoughts, of self-harm, of depression, of a lot of conversation about like a mother not being able to love her child or children the way that they know they should or want to because they're scared of harming them or themselves. Like a lot of those themes are going on. Okay, bud, you're being real loud. So yeah, it has a lot of those conversations. So just kind of be prepared for that going in. V. Castro is from Texas and is born of Mexican-American parents. And so she really likes to write in like folklore of those places and have her settings in Texas with like Mexican folklore. And I think that's really fun. This is my first V. Castro and I'm excited to read more from her. I think that I enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed the size. I won't lie, when I started, I don't know, I'm not super familiar with NetGalley. I am still like a NetGalley newbie. But when I first got the ARC, it was an ebook and I was like, whoops, but it's fine. I'll read it. I'll get better at reading ebooks. I do feel like with the infinite scroll pretty quick. So that was nice, but I started reading it and I was like, oh boy, it's like 400 pages, like I can do it, but oh boy. And as I like kept reading, months later, the page went down to like 202 and I was like, okay, that's nicer, that's easier, that's more manageable. So that really helped like me personally. But I will say like it's weird reviewing something because my 2 pet peeves of this book, one, because it was an ARC, the second half of the book had not yet been edited, and so there was a lot of like typos and misspellings, but I was able to kind of just like move past. But it's weird if I can correct and like catch them, because I'm not normally one to do that. So I was a little like, look at me go. So that was something. But my only complaint with the entire book was primarily in the La Llorona imagery was just like super repetitive. Like the way that the white lace dress was described over and over and over and over again in every single chapter and perspective. Like I understand like that's what the women are noticing, and that's what that's what I'm saying. I'm so all over the place. That's what the women keep noticing, so that's what they keep saying, but like that's the only new, like the descriptor, like nothing new is really being said. And so I was like, I get it. I know what the dress is. I understand. I don't need you to keep telling me. I know that's like a weird revelation for them, but like I get it. Anywho, what I was gonna say was that there is LGBTQ representation in this. There is I believe, if I read it correctly, a trans side character in my favorite chapter's perspective, which was Flor. Whew! I'm probably saying that wrong, and I'm so sorry. Thank you, bud. I absolutely loved that perspective of being back in the day. I think it was the war for independence in Mexico, and she loses her husband. Her kids are like old enough to take care of themselves and the grandparents, so she's like, I'm gonna go help with this war. I'm gonna go do the thing, and does it, and meets their true love, if you will, and he's a trans man, if I read that correctly. I'm pretty sure I did. He's a trans man, and our main character, Alejandra, is bisexual. And so and like Alejandra goes to therapy with an amazing, incredible girl. I ship them so hard. Like I would have been fine if like she's married, I get it, but like her and the therapist could totally, I'm just saying. That's my afterthoughts. That would be my fan fiction. Yeah, I really enjoyed all the conversations because Alejandra is going to therapy. You're going to the sessions with her in some parts. And I really enjoyed hearing the sessions. And as somebody who's like looking into therapy, it was comforting in a weird way. But yeah, that was the book. Oh my goodness. I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. It's really more like a 3.5 for like my personal reading taste. Like it's not something that it's the same as White Horse. Like I recommend it to people who want to read it, who can handle the content in it. I think that it's a really good read, and I'm gonna recommend it. But at the same time, like it's not crazy, nothing like super massive happens. You're just really following what feels like literary horror. I don't know if that's a genre, but that's how it feels. Like it's a slice of life. It's more character driven than plot driven, but it's still horror. But it's not that kind of horror that people often associate horror with. So it's like a weird place to describe. But if you enjoyed White Horse or enjoyed like slower pace literary horror, that's what I'm calling it from now on, I would recommend. I would definitely say check it out. It comes out, is the 23rd even a Tuesday? Why do books come out on Tuesday? Does anyone know? Asking for a friend. April 18th. So it comes out April 18th, 2023. And I would recommend. I thought it was good. I also just really enjoy like La Llorona stories. They're fun. So that was that. I have to go to work for 10 hours today. But after work, I'm reading Piranesi. And like that's it. That's all I'm doing. So wish me luck. I've got 75% to go. I think I can do it. It's a shorter book, so like I think I can do it. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I will see you guys probably when I get off work, if not tomorrow morning when I can review Piranesi. Good morning and goodbye. I'm closing out this video. It has been like 3 months basically, bits and pieces of my reading. So I'm just gonna end this. I know that I didn't finish Piranesi in this vlog, but it just needs to end. Like I can't just like vlog forever. I'm still getting in the habit of vlogging again, finding like what to vlog. As I've mentioned, my work schedule has changed. My mental health is on a bit of a declining slope because of it. I'm having a really hard time adjusting to this new work schedule, and by the time I get used to it in 2 months, it'll go back to my old schedule. So it's like a really weird shift right now. So it's making it hard to know like how and when to prioritize videos and get them uploaded for you guys and like the correct schedule, and it's just been a little tricky. So yeah, I'm okay. My mental health will be fine. Eventually, I'm sure. It's not as bad as it has been in previous months, but it's definitely not been super fun. It's definitely lowered like my motivation to do anything and everything. So go me for reading books, because that's the big one. And I will see you guys very soon in my next video. I'm gonna pre-record some stuff today and get them edited, so hoping for a full week of uploads. That's the goal, always. But that's gonna be it for me for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was a lot of me just like talking to you guys. It wasn't really like a vlog of my life. It was just like, here's the books, enjoy. I will get better at vlogging. It's just I'm out of practice, so apologies, but I read a lot of books for this. That's something at least, and I will see you guys very soon. Have a great day. Bye.